The interstate was a major part of the closure of Jefferson Street, the entertainment in some of the clubs that was in Jefferson Street. When they started talking about making the changes on Jefferson Street in the late 50s, they started talking about the interstate coming through here. At one time, they were talking about the interstate going around through Belle Meade, and they weren't having it over there. They ended up coming straight through Jefferson Street. And when it came through Jefferson Street and North Nashville, they started building bridges. And once they broke the ground for the bridge, that means that you couldn't come down certain streets. Now, as far as Jefferson Street is concerned, we had a bridge down here at 25th in Jefferson, right over, and the exit coming off of the interstate is right where the Del Morroco was sitting. And the Del Morroco is where Jimmi Hendrixx and a whole bunch of other, major artists, Billy Cox, all of those guys played at the Del Morroco. So they had all of the streets torn up with and debris all over everywhere. And then when the debris came, the dust came, and the people started moving out, because it was over 600 and something homes and businesses on Jefferson Street. So, and they were close together, so it was something going on all the way up and down Jefferson Street. And we had banks. We had three banks on Jefferson Street. We had the major universities right off Jefferson Street. We had Fisk, Tennessee State, and Meharry. So we had all of that traffic that was happening up and down this street back in those 60s. We had flower shops. We had lawyers. We had clinics, dentist offices. We had bakeries. We had funeral homes, churches. Jefferson Street was pretty much self-contained back there in those days. There were a lot of jobs over here on Jefferson Street, because there was all of these businesses. Because at that time, we couldn't go downtown to the hotels and to the businesses downtown. So to show you how smart, our people were, they came over here and built a whole community to where they could do everything and have goods and everything right here on Jefferson Street. So, and it didn't change until after Jim Crow. And after Jim Crow, then folk could go wherever they wanted to. You could go in the stores downtown. You could go in the hotels downtown after Jim Crow. But before Jim Crow, you had people like Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, Muhammad Ali, when he was a young 19, 20-year-old guy. You had Joe Louis, the boxer. You had all of those guys coming through the South, staying on Jefferson Street because they couldn't stay at the hotels downtown. So you had all of that kind of action over here on Jefferson Street. You had folk, Tina Turner, all of those major names, once they started getting money, they came through Nashville because they all liked playing Nashville, because Nashville had so many clubs. You had a place to stay, and you had plenty of restaurants where you could eat for a decent price. And so all of these artists and musicians came through Nashville, and also Nashville was a part of that chitlin circuit, from North Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. There was a circuit you could get on and go from city to city and make money, you know, as an artist, a musician. One of the things about Nashville and Jefferson Street is that Jefferson Street had access to some of the best musicians in the world because they taught music at Tennessee State. And all of these big artists, they knew that they had this quality of artists here in Nashville. And it was a known thing around the country that Nashville had some of the best musicians there was, because this was a place where they taught music. And a lot of other cities didn't have facilities where they actually taught music, you know, but Nashville has that. So Nashville was a popular place, and Jefferson Street was overwhelmingly popular back during those years.